writers? Who writes poems? Who likes to write poems? Who likes to write? Oh, that's great. That's great. When I was probably about your age, what is it, 7, 8, now, what's the age group here? Well, I started taking piano lessons probably when I was about your age. And I didn't have a choice. It was one day my mother just said, all right, Saturday, you, your brother, and your sister, you're going to start taking piano lessons. And I was like, okay. Okay, sure. We had a piano in the house, and I didn't know how serious she was. I started taking piano lessons. And, I had no idea that that was going to lead me on a path that was going to take me through the rest of my life. It was just something that I was doing on Saturday morning, learning the scales. Every Saturday morning I was doing this. And at your age, I was thinking, okay, where is this going to lead me? You know, and what it was, and I didn't know, but it was teaching me. It was teaching me how to hear. It was teaching me notes. It was teaching me what sounds good, that chord, that chord, that chord. And I didn't know it. I was just, you know, my mom said I'm taking piano lessons, so I'm taking piano lessons. And I was getting my dexterity for my fingers and everything, and just trying to learn how to play. But again, I had no idea that it was going to take me on a journey that's brought me here throughout my life. And it's been a great journey. Eliot Sloan. And I still had it. I must have been about 7 or 8. My mother showed me that before she passed away years ago. I was like, oh my, you got this. And I started trying to write a song to that. And again, it was before I knew what songwriting was. What is songwriting? Well, songwriting is just taking that piece of poetry that you have, that idea, and putting it to music and singing the melody to it. I was like, well, I've been doing that all my life. By the time I ended up getting a recording contract, and they said, you know, to sign this songwriting and publishing contract, I was like, well, what is song? I was just making up songs all the time. So I would just, at your age, I'd sit at the piano. Most of my kids were out playing. My friends were out playing. And I was in the solarium, a little solarium that was our piano, and a nice window, with a nice view. And I would just sit there and make up songs because it was the one thing I thought I was good at anyway. I didn't play a lot of sports, so I wasn't accepted into the sports community. And even at school in the band, I really didn't get involved with the band and everything because of the type of music that I listened to, the type of music that I liked, and the things I wanted to do with songs. So I really just sat at home and made up songs. By the time I was 14 or 15, I probably had about 200 or 300 songs that I'd written. Even just pieces of little things. Some were full songs, some were just little, you know, verses here and there. And it was exciting to me because I would play them for my friends. I was like, hey guys, come here, check out this song that I wrote. And I'd play them a little bit of something. It may start with a poem that you have just written out. It may start with just some music and a melody that I just did. A lot of times when I'm writing songs, it's like when you describe a song to somebody, you go, hey, you know that one song, and you hum that melody to them, and you hum that little bit of lyric to them. To me, that's the part that people remember the most. What's the melody? What's really going to attract somebody? And what are they going to remember about that song? So before I started writing too many words, a lot of times I would just play chords, just like I did now. That was just something that I just came up with. I can go to any burn keyboard
Joe or a lot of guys that play. But it took me a while to realize that my strong point was playing chords and trying to come up with nice melodies over top of it. So what I'm saying is, even if you don't play an instrument, if you write poetry, you might hear melodies in your head that are really sweet, really pretty. You may not be able to play them. A lot of times I do a lot of co-writing with other people that play better than me. So sometimes I'll just take that chord. So I'm going to be working on that for the next couple of days. But the point is, even if you can't play piano, even if you can't write poetry, you can get with somebody that can and say, hey, you know, one of your friends play guitar or piano, say, hey, I got these words. Let's see if we can put these words into a song and make up a song together. And you'd be surprised what you come up with. You really would be surprised. And again, like I said, nobody's going to write that just the way you do it. You know, you have, each of you has something really, really special inside. You have your own life, your own story, and that's going to develop over years as you get older. And you're going to have some beautiful things come out of you, whether it be in music or art form, if you draw, if you paint. I envy people that can draw and paint. I can't. My art teachers used to always tell me, draw what you see. And I could just never put that together. And a lot of my friends that I went to school understand how I could hear something on the radio and just play it. Because as long as I took music lessons, I never learned how to read music. I know what the notes are, but I can't sight read. So everything I learned in my life, I just find the chords and I play it. And that's how I've always done it in my life. Everybody's going to do things a little bit different. And again, people that can write music and put a piece of music in front of them and sight read, it's like, what are you looking at? I don't understand that. But I can understand just hearing something and playing it and going from there. And it just all made sense to me. So everybody's got a different talent, a different amount of talent, but you all have talent, you all have something beautiful inside you to say. When I got a little older, in high school I got into a couple of bands. And I got into a couple of bands with guys that, you know, had the same dream and the same goal as I did. We all wanted to get on the radio. Who wants to hear their song on the radio, of course, you know? And that was always a dream of mine. I was like, I had no idea how that was going to happen. None. All I knew was I was just going to keep on writing songs. I just going to do what I can do, and hopefully, you know, I'll meet the right people that would help me to craft radio somehow. And that didn't happen for a long, long time, I mean, for me. And I just kept plugging away at it. And I didn't mind because I just loved playing music. I loved it, so it didn't matter how long it took. And that's where it starts. It really starts with you just loving to play music, loving your art, whatever it is. Playing piano, writing poetry, and just loving what you do. And I've always loved it. And as time went on, I got with a really good manager, who's a really good friend of mine now, he's still my manager. And he was able to take some of our songs and deliver to a couple of record companies. And they liked it. They actually liked our songs. We couldn't believe it. I mean, I've been writing songs all my life, and I finally get it to a record company, and they listened to it, and they really liked it. That was pretty amazing. So what I was going to do, I'm going to grab this guitar, and if it's okay with you, I was going to play you guys a song on my guitar. Is that okay? Yeah! I didn't start playing guitar until about 15 years ago. And I'm not that good with guitar player at all. My manager never lets me play guitar, all right, which is fine with me. But I played well enough to make up songs, which is really all I was concerned with. So I learned, was it GCD, I think? So I don't read music, so I don't know what the notes are, but I know what sounds good and what doesn't. And that's, to me, that's equally as important. Just because you can't read music or write music, you know what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. So I learned a few bar chords, and I messed around, and we ended up writing this song for our second album. And the reason I'm going to play this for you because it only has 3 chords. So. Won't you let me catch your fall? Won't you let me lend a hand? Those lonely eyes seen it all. live again. I wanna be there when you're feeling high. I wanna be there when you're gonna die. I'm gonna light your fire, I'm gonna feel your flame. I'm gonna be there when you're gonna sing. I wanna be there when you're feeling down. And I'll be there when your head is spinning round. I'm gonna be your love, I'm gonna be your friend. Gonna be there to the end. 'Cause you don't know what you have till your everything is gone. You need someone to show you how to live again. And I got so much to give if you don't only let me in. I'm afraid you'll believe again. Oh, I wanna be there when the baby cries. I wanna be there when they tell you lies. I'm gonna light your fire, I'm gonna feel your flame. I wanna be there when you go sing. I wanna be there when the nights are long and when you're feeling like you don't belong. I'm gonna be your brother, gonna be your friend, gonna be there to the end. I'm gonna be there in the morning, I'm gonna be there in the night. I'm gonna be your brother, gonna be your friend, gonna be there to the end. Well, like I said, songwriting, there's no one way to write a song. I've written songs that just started with the chords like that, and just started with the poems, and sometimes the words and the melody and the music behind it all coming at the same time. And sometimes I've written songs that I've written in a half hour, and I've written songs that it took me 6 months. And but the idea is to let the song take its time and to don't rush it. You know, just let the song come together in its own time. Sometimes it comes together really, really fast, and sometimes it doesn't. But a lot of times, as you're writing it, you get to a point that you've written something, whether it's a poem or whatever, you've written a part of it that you really, really like. And then you keep going and you keep going, and you went from really, really liking it to, I don't know if I like it as much anymore. And sometimes that's just when it's time to just put the song away and come back to it later. And I've had to do that in the past couple of nights, a couple of songs I'm working on that I was up too late working on the song, and it all started sounding the same. I was like, okay, Eliot, it's time to eat and go to bed, and just put the song away and come and reinvestigate it. When I lie awake, I have a fresh perspective about it. And then a lot of times I get back to the song, it could be a day or two later, and then I'll come back and listen to it, it sounds fresh all over again. I was like, oh yeah, I like that. I forgot I liked that one song. There's a song that we just put out, last CD we put out was 2 years ago. It's a great Christian record called Mission Field. And there were 12 songs on that record. And some of them were older songs that we revamped, and a lot of them were newer songs that we put together just for this record. And writes lyrics really well. Sometimes if I get stuck on lyrics, there's a friend of mine, her name is Marty, and she writes really, really great lyrics. So one day, we were getting ready to work on some music, and I got to the studio before she did. So I plugged the piano in, and I got the speakers ready, and I just started playing something just to get a sound check, just to make sure. I was just playing, just old this album, The Mission Field. And I really wanted to write a song called The Mission Field, but nothing's coming to mind. I had an idea for it to be an up-tempo, fast song, and she was like, well, what is that you're playing right there? And I was like, I don't know, I'm just playing some chords to get the sound check and make sure that the speakers work and everything. So she said, keep playing that. I was like, okay, so I'll just... And she's got a laptop that she types her lyrics on. So she turned the laptop and she's typing away. And she was in the zone, so I wasn't going to say a word. I wasn't going to bother her. She was writing something. So I was just going to play this and play this piano melody that I'm playing. After about 15 minutes, she typed a couple of things, and I hear her humming a melody and everything. And then she turns her laptop around and she sets it right here on my keyboard. She goes, okay, sing this and sing it just like this, and sing this line and stop right here and stop right here. And music break right here. And I was like, okay. To what? I said, to what music? She said, to the music that you're playing. So all that time, she was writing a song. To this song, I was playing on piano. I didn't even know I was writing a song. And that's how songs come together sometimes. So I'm going to play you a piece of this. It's kind of a really short song. But it's the title track to our album. It's called she got inspired just like that. You never know. You never know where inspiration is going to hit you. You just never know. A lot of times I'm watching a movie, and there's this nice scene going in the movie, and there's music playing in the backdrop. And I'm hearing this music, and I'm like, oh, wow, if they would have just went here with the song, or And I'll turn the volume all the way down, and I'll watch the scene of the movie, and I'll imagine, what would I play behind the scene? What do I hear? If I see the scene, it's an action scene, the guy's running, he's chasing somebody, or it's a guy and a girl, and they're dancing, and what music would I put behind there? You just never know what's going to inspire you. You could be watching one of your friends, you know, playing in the yard, or at his locker, or doing something, and you picture something. You just never know where the inspirations come from. When I was growing up, I had a couple of really, really great teachers, and I know you guys got some great teachers here. And there was one teacher that I had, Miss Brown, and I still stay in contact with her today. She was a really good teacher to me, and as I've gotten older, she's become a really good friend. But she didn't know it, but she used to inspire me because I was having trouble with math one year. Always just right there for me, and just showing me she took the time, try this, and I was like, oh, no, I see it. But I told her, and she didn't know it for a long time, but she was an inspiration for some of the songs that I come up with because she was so helpful. You just never know where it's going to come from. You never know. Now, when you guys walked in, how are we doing on time? We're good. When you guys walked in, there was a video playing of a song that we did a few years ago. And that was probably one of our most popular songs, and just a really fun, upbeat song. It wasn't really deep. It wasn't, just a quiet love song. We kind of rocked out a little bit with the guitar. So I'm going to play a little bit of that for you, okay? I've been talking about inspiration. Talking about just being inspired. Our band used to travel a lot. I mean, we would literally be on tour 9 months out of the year. Home for a week. We'd go out for 6 weeks, touring through the United States, come home for a week, say hello to our families, and we were right back on the road. And that went on for the better part of 8 or 9 years. And as much as I like traveling, I'm glad to be home. More so, I don't know if I could do 9 months out of the year anymore, especially with little kids. A big tour bus, had a big television in the back, and we had satellite TV, and we had a sound system we could play our songs through. We kind of got a little spoiled there. And we could sleep anytime we wanted because we had big bunks on the bed. And I would sleep so great on a tour bus, just the hum of the engine, and just, traveling anywhere between North Carolina and the state of Washington. You wake up, you have no idea where you are. And that was always kind of fun, but I used to get a lot of my inspiration on the road. I used to like just looking out the window and just seeing the mountains and my mind was just free to just write. I was with a bunch of guys that we used to like write and make up songs together. So we decided, well, we're just going to write just a silly song. This is a silly love song. And not very deep or nothing, but just something fun. And that's what we did. The song that I'm going to play is a song called Hey Leonardo. Have you heard, anybody know who Leonardo DiCaprio is, right? Okay, well, a lot of people got the impression that we were friends. In the song, we use a lot of different actors and actresses' names. We're just having fun with it. We had no idea that we were going to record this song, and it actually turned out to be one of our biggest hits. And the point of that is, it can be just a fun, silly song. You just never know what's going to be great, what's going to be good, what's going to be something that you put away and get back to later. But a friend of mine who I was friends with at the time, the way this song together, at the time our band was really popular. And there was a girl that I was, kind of get to know a little bit, and I was just kind of trying to date her, but she didn't care that I was in a band. She did not care at all, and she wasn't impressed by that. And I kind of liked that. I was like, you know what? She likes me for me. And I was like, wow, that's a great title for a song. So I started writing a song called She Likes Me for Me. And again, you never know where inspiration is going to come from. So this is what became like. This is going to be a lot different than what you hear over there, because this is just going to be me and this guitar. She don't care about my car. She don't care about my money. And that's real good, cause I don't got a lot to spend. But if I did, it wouldn't mean nothing. She likes me for me, not because I look like Tyson Bedford with the charm of Robert Redford oozing out my ears. But what she sees are my thoughts and indecisions, my insecure condition, and the tears upon a pillow that I shed. She don't care about my big screen or my collection of DVDs. Things like that just never mattered much to her. Plus, she don't watch too much TV. She don't care that I can fly her to places she ain't never been. But if she really wants to go, I think deep down she knows that all she has to say is when. Because I hang with Leonardo, or the guy who played in Fargo. I think his name is Steve. She's the one for me, and I just can't live without her. My arms be blown around her, and I'm so glad I found her once again. Yeah, I'm so glad I found her once again. Yeah, I'm so glad I found her once again. Gazing at the ceiling as we entertain our feelings in the dark. Things that we're afraid of are gonna show us what we're made of in the end. She likes me for me, not because I sing like Pavarotti, or because she's such a hottie. I like her for her, not because she's fat like Cindy Crawford. She's got so much to offer. Why does she waste all her time with me? There must be something there that I don't see. I don't see. She likes me for that, just like Jim Carrey. I'm like the cable guy, but what she sees is that I can't live without her. My arms be blown around her, and I'm so glad I found her once again. Yeah, I'm so glad I found her once again. Yeah, I'm so glad I found her once again. Yeah, I'm so glad I found her once again. There you go. See, silly songs with silly lyrics, you just never know. So when you're writing a poem, or when you're writing a song, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say, oh, that sounds too silly, or that sounds too crazy. That's the beautiful thing about art, and I'm sure your teachers have expressed that to you. Art really has no boundaries. Art is never finished. It's like fashion. Fashion is never finished. Art is what is expressed, what's in your art, how you express that, whether it's through music, whether it's through words, your poems, the way you dress, the way you look. It's all part of your expression of who you are. And that's so important. And it's so important. And again, these are a lot of things that I didn't realize when I was your age. But just constantly playing songs and writing poetry. That's pretty much what shaped who I am now. We're good.
Hey, if we could, Eliot, if we could take some Q&A for
She likes me for me. I wrote that. I started writing that song in a van. I was driving back to South Dakota to see my friend. It was about a 12-hour drive. I think I started writing in the last 6 or 7 hours of the trip. I got to my studio at my house and recorded a demo, and then we finished it. It probably, altogether, it probably took about 2 days to write that song. And thank you very much.
Let's go over here somewhere. Kobe.
Where's your home now?
I'm from Cincinnati. And, yeah. I'm from Cincinnati, but I live in
Let's go way in the back. Taylor.
how far away from home have I been? In December, I just, for the first time, went to Africa, so that was pretty far. We had, and here's another beautiful thing about it that you just can't predict. Going on with that to my mother putting me in piano lessons, you just never know what road that's going to take you on, and it's allowed us to play a lot for our military. So we went to Africa to play for troops that we have in Northern Africa. So that was
One of the questions that some of you asked about is music. So, Eliot, can you maybe tell them how you got your band, but you've also got some new solo stuff. How can they find your music?
oh yeah. I mean, on the internet, our Blessid Union of Souls website is blessedunionofsouls.net, and there's a picture of me with our last album under the mission field, which from that song I played was from that record. And we're also on Facebook. You can just Google Blessid Union of Souls, and we start popping up. It's amazing. I see pictures on there that I didn't know that I even took 15 years ago. Oh wow.
Let's go over here. By Miss Barons. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. He asked that I set a goal in life to be in the music business, and I did. Once I started taking piano lessons, and as I got older, I knew that this was what I wanted to do for a life, not just for a living, but for a lifetime. Playing music in some capacity, whether we were lucky enough to get our songs on the radio or not, I would still be playing music in some capacity. And it starts from just loving what you do. I mean, that's where it starts. You can't do it for the money, for the fame, or for the tour buses. You have to do it just because you love your art and you love your craft, and just let that grow and guide you.
Writing, talk about your school, what we got it with us. We talk a lot about writing, and it's not so important, we say. I want your opinion on this. Not so much important what the final product is, but like the process getting to it and getting it out of your soul and out of your being. What would you say to that?
I would agree with that. I would agree. The finished product is going to be whatever it is. It's the journey of creating and expressing yourself that is so, so important. There are things to that we can't explain that you'll come to know as you get older about why it's so important to express yourself in any art form that you love. And you're absolutely right. If you come up with a finished product and say, this is it, that's great, but it's the process along the way, the things that you learn along the way as you are creating, so vitally important.
All right, guys, hands down. Those are great questions. As we said, all the time, people are singing it all over the world. And so, one of the things we talk about here as teachers, we wore our shirts today, is we're always saying how we believe in you. Okay, all of you are wired up so differently. There's a great purpose and plan for each of your lives. And Eliot talked today about setting dreams and having goals and finding out what's in you and going for that. And as teachers, what we hope you see from us every day as we hang out together is that we're not here just to work a job. We're here because we believe in you. We care about you deeply. We know the sky's the limit for you, for your dreams and your goals. And so we've asked Eliot if he would end today singing I Believe, maybe before him doing that great song for us.
This is another song that literally just came to me in the middle of the night. I was asleep. It was about 3:30 in the morning. And I just heard this melody in my head. I heard that that in my head, and I was really tired. I didn't want to wake up and record it. I had a piano sitting right by my bed with a little cassette recorder. So if I come up with quick ideas, I can just record them really quick and then maybe go back to sleep. Well, I started working on this song about 3:30 in the morning, and by 5 o'clock in the morning, the song was complete. It just poured out. You know, it was. People always tell me, you know, how did you write such a great song? And I tell them the truth. You know, great songs. Songwriters don't write great songs. Great songs write themselves. You just have to open yourself up to be a vessel to hear what it has to say and don't fight it. And the inspiration behind the lyrics, well, the theme of the song is, you know, I believe that love is the answer. And this song was written over 20 years ago, and I still believe that. And it's always been. And I'm just a songwriter from Cincinnati who happened to catch this melody in my head, and, you know, to spread a message that has been universal for a long time. So this is I Believe. Reach out for his hand. Don't